Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to slow things right down. We are intentionally stepping away from that relentless, frantic energy of everyday life, and we're going to explore the architecture of absolute mental stillness. Drawing from the deep wisdom found in the classic Buddhist text on the perfection of concentration, we're tracing a highly methodical journey. And it's a journey that takes us deep into the settled waters of advanced meditation. Not as a way to escape reality, mind you, but to uncover its ultimate purpose. So settle in, take a breath, and let's explore how profound inner quiet actually becomes the foundation for limitless compassionate action in the world. Here is the roadmap we'll be taking today. First, the progressive stilling of the mind. Then we'll look at power as a tool, moving beyond ordinary senses, knowing minds in the past, and finally, action from a settled depth.
Part 1. Progressive Stilling of Mind. The Descent into Calm.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to think of this first part not as a strenuous, exhausting climb up a steep mountain, but rather as a gentle, deliberate sinking into pure stillness. The source text defines this foundational practice of concentration, shamatha, with incredible precision. It is a methodical process of leaving things behind. We aren't accumulating anything here, we're shedding. We are actively dropping the chaotic surface noise, those gross distractions, the restless seeking, the unwholesome mental states, so that what remains is a mind that is purely, effortlessly one-pointed.
The text outlines this descent into calm through 4 very specific stages, known as the 4 Dhyanas. First up, the practitioner deliberately leaves behind unwholesome desires and mental seeking. Then, in the second dhyana, even the subtle act of examining your own thoughts just falls away, leaving this profound inner one-pointedness. Moving into the third dhyana, the mind drops that intense, buzzing feeling of rapture, trading it for a deep, sustainable physical and mental ease. Finally, we hit the bottom of this quiet ocean, the fourth dhyana. Here, the mind achieves a state of pure equanimity, stepping entirely beyond the duality of pain and pleasure. It is a state of flawless, unmixed balance.
Part 2. Power as a Tool. Preparing for the Depths.
So the crucial point is, once the mind has settled into absolute depth, we transition from stillness into profound capability. But how we frame these new abilities is everything. It's incredibly easy to look at supernatural powers as mystical rewards, right? As badges of spiritual ego or ultimate status symbols. But the source text firmly, absolutely rejects that. These powers are exclusively tools. Think of them exactly like deep-sea diving equipment. You don't put on a heavy, cumbersome diving suit just to show off on the beach. You wear it to perform rescue operations in depths where ordinary people simply cannot survive.
Unlocked from the absolute stability of that fourth dhyana, these 5 specific tools are the divine eye, the divine ear, the ability to know minds, the power of remembering past lives, and finally, miraculous action. These tools are exactly what allow the bodhisattva, the awakened practitioner, to access and help beings who are otherwise entirely unreachable. Part 3. Beyond Ordinary Senses. The Divine Eye and Ear.
What we're really talking about here is an astonishing expansion of sensory bandwidth. A perfectly still mind can process an unimaginable volume of data without ever becoming overwhelmed, distracted, or attached. The divine ear is essentially the ultimate form of active listening. The text describes a practitioner hearing the majestic voices of Buddhas echoing across infinite realms, right alongside the cries of beings in the lowest hells. But they also hear the incredibly subtle buzzing of butterflies, bees, and mosquitoes. And because the mind is so perfectly still, it hears a mosquito and a Buddha with the exact same equanimity. Zero preference, zero irritation, zero distress. It listens perfectly, comprehending even the deepest karmic roots behind every single word spoken. Similarly, the divine eye sees the underlying mechanisms of reality itself. It observes the infinite cycle of actions and consequences, who's born, who passes away, the beautiful, the ugly, the joyful, and the suffering. It views this vast, incredibly complex web of karma with absolute, crystal clarity and zero obstruction. It sees exactly how causes ripen into effects across the entire universe.
Part 4. Knowing Minds and Past. Mapping Time and Intention.
From expanding the senses of sight and hearing, the practitioner's stillness then penetrates even deeper into the unseen, mapping the intricate minds of others. And this brilliantly illustrates the practical application of these tools. Knowing the minds of others isn't some kind of cosmic invasion of privacy, it's a highly precise diagnostic tool. If a practitioner sees a mind rooted in greed, anger, or ignorance, they don't judge it, they know it truly. And because they know the exact blockage, they can deliver the precise targeted teaching, the exact dharma, required to dismantle that specific suffering. It is literally perfectly customized spiritual medicine.
Coupled with knowing minds is the ability to remember past lives. Now, the source text describes this vision extending backward not just for a few days or even a couple of lifetimes, but across hundreds of thousands of eons. We're talking through endless cycles of universal formation and destruction. By witnessing this endless, repetitive loop of birth and suffering, the practitioner generates a profound, unshakable world weariness towards superficial rewards. Actually, scratch that. It's not weariness like depression. It is absolute clarity, a clarity that fuels limitless, unconditional compassion for all beings caught in the cycle.
Part 5. Action from Settled Depth. Impartial Compassion in Motion.
So, we've descended into profound stillness, we've unlocked vast sensory data, and we've mapped the depths of time and mind. Now, what does the practitioner actually do with all this? They act. Miraculous action is the ultimate expression of impartial compassion in motion. The text describes immense reality-bending feats, transforming blazing fire into cool water, or manifesting as whatever form an unreachable being needs to see in order to be helped. It even describes lifting Mount Sumeru, the massive center of the universe, specifically to tame beings afflicted with extreme arrogance and pride. The immense strength is used entirely as a targeted intervention. Let's move to and see how this builds to a core philosophy found right in the text. In life and death, there is no bondage, acting without attachment, to mature sentient beings. All of this incredible power, the whole shebang of miraculous, earth-shaking action, radiates from a mind that remains perfectly, completely still. The practitioner engages intimately with the chaos of the world to help others, yet remains completely untouched by ego, totally unbothered by praise or blame, acting solely out of pure, perfected concentration. We began by seeking absolute quiet, and we ended up moving mountains. The perfection of concentration teaches us that the deepest spiritual stillness is never a retreat from the world. It is the absolute ultimate preparation to serve it. So I want to leave you with this to ponder. How might you cultivate and use your own moments of calm, your own inner stillness, to become a clearer, more compassionate tool for those around you? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and stay focused.